Hello all, and welcome back to Sky Factory 2.5, Episode 11. This is Mordecai, and I am getting ready now to populate the Deep Dark with all of my little inventions and stuff, but first of all, as we've talked about, I need to get a better power solution here, and I'm already seeing better FPS because I've prepared the power room. I've kind of disconnected everything here. And the power room is now empty, so our FPS is quite a bit better. I'm holding steady now. What I've done is I have disconnected a few of all of our power upstairs except for the ME system, and I have everything we need to make a big reactor. So all of this is for a 9x9x9 reactor, and I've got just about everything I'm going to do with that, and I'm going to cool it with blocks of diamonds. So I had to let it run a little bit to get diamond blocks kind of built up. I've got everything we need. So as you can see here, I've disconnected the power conduit from all the branches of the base, and the only thing that's really powered upstairs now is the ME controller. So I am going to first of all get this set up here, and I think I want the roof of the reactor to be 2 above this. So let me get the casing here. And the reason I want that is I want to be able to put them at ground level. So I'm going to go here with a corner. And this is going to be a glass level on the side, and then this is going to be the top of the reactor. So we're going to trace it like so, come all the way around until we're down to the end. Same thing here. This was an 11 by 11, so that's why I don't really have to measure it. If you remember when we did our lava. So another thing I've got going here is that I don't have any lava generation going on right now, so I'm going to have to fix that soon. But now, let's count down 7. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Break that. And this will be the floor. So that'll work pretty well. I can actually walk under it in this room. So let's go ahead and frame it in. And we're going to speed up this process quite a bit. These are all reactor casings too, which hopefully my math was right on this. If not, we'll finish it off camera, but I think I've got everything right. And then we're going to take... Ooh, I don't want that. Alright, and we're going to go ahead and do this. It shouldn't, now that I've got that out of there, I should be able to use my wand to finish it off. And casing up the side like so. Break that. And around the edges I want to do glass. We'll show you how that's going to work here in a second. Do casing down. And casing up. So there is that. That is the outline. Now I'm going to take and do the main floor here. So I'm going to take our reactor glass, trace it around the outside. And then we're going to alternate fuel rods and diamond blocks. So fuel rods are going to go like this. And I'm just going to do a checkerboard pattern. Like so. And this is where the building ones are really going to shine. We'll fill these with diamond blocks, which are used for cooling. Make sure we fill in all the gaps. Oops. Like so. And then we're going to take our wand. We're going to say glass, diamond, fuel rod. Diamond, fuel rod. Glass, glass. And really, I can just go ahead and take the glass up. So that fills that end. And then we'll go diamond fuel rod, diamond fuel rod. And I need to get these out of here. So I'll clean this up real quick. There we go. Take our wand again. Fuel rods, diamonds, fuel rods. I think that did them all. Yep. And then we're going to take our casings and cover up the diamonds with casings. Like so. And let's go ahead and get this stuff out of here. Power monitor can come out. This is actually the roof of the reactor, so I think the biggest question we're going to have after this is, are we going to have enough room for everything we want to put on top? So let's get the casings. A few more diamonds to cover up. And then let's take our control rods and just fill in the gaps. Now all this should start to make sense in a second why we built it the way we did. Alright, that is one big multi-block structure. And I want to put, let's see, so here's that side. This is I'm going to build my travel stone right here in the middle. Put it against this wall, that's fine. And we'll put it right here. We'll call this Reactor. Okay, and that's working. And let's put our control surfaces here. So, controller. Then we're going to take power tap. I wish I could put this up top, and I might be able to, but I need the rods there. So I'm going to have to just kind of run it from the side. Maybe it makes sense to put that on the other side. I'll do that. And then we can set up our power stuff there. So we'll do our controls here. Let me do our input and output, which I should have them. Here are the ports. So it's going to be our input of fuel. And then we're going to make this an outlet of waste. Fuel's going to come in here. Outlet of waste is going to be here. And then we just need a redstone control and a power tap, which I'm going to do all that on the back side. So let's take this one out. And let's take this one out. We're going to leave us enough room to work. And then we're going to take our redstone port. Let's do power tap, that's fine. Power tap will be there. Redstone port is right here. It's going to go here. And now we have a complete casing. Now if we run around here to look at the controller, you can see everything's good. Now on this redstone port, I'm going to set it to control toggle reactor on and off, and I want to set from signal, so when we have a redstone signal, it'll be on, and when we don't, it'll be off. Then we're going to set our power controller, or power monitor, right here. We need some conduit. I wonder if I'm out of power. It looks like it. Oh, that's because I took everything off of it. Hello. I'm going to put these capacitor banks here for now. Alright, sorry, we had a technical difficulty there, and Minecraft kind of closed on me, so I'm going to set these capacitor banks here now to power up the base a little bit, so I can at least get access to what I need. And let's get a little more energy conduit and see if we can get this stuff going. So let's grab some energy conduit. Oops, I gotta get the actual thing up. Thought that came up. Conduit. So I've got that ready to go. And redstone conduit too, which I've got plenty of that. So let's go ahead and run this to here, and we're going to shut this off. We're going to shut this off, and we're going to break that. Okay, so that's now coming from the power monitor to the redstone port. Let's go ahead and configure this to emit a signal when storage is less than 10% full. Enable engine control. And then we need our power tap. So what I want to do is I also have a couple more capacitor banks. And I'm just going to make like a 9. Alright, I'm not sure what's going on there. Something happens when I hit escape and I have these control rods selected and I'm trying to place a capacitor bank. But regardless, I'm just going to move them up one. So let's just break it out of here. Hopefully we don't cause any issues. Obviously we're going to run out of power for a second, but let's go ahead and break that and hopefully it doesn't cause a problem. And I've got another one here, and I've got a couple more in the ME system, so I'm gonna go ahead and make this 3x3. So let's go ahead and get in wirelessly and vibrant. I made a bunch of these. The point is just to give us plenty of storage. Alright, that should give us a lot. And you know what? We'll just go ahead and put them all the way around. Should be plenty, plus that'll give us where we can have our network here. So I'm going to run this here. I don't want all that powered right now, but it'll be fine for now. And let's go ahead and run this up. To here. So we've got a power tap, and we've got a redstone thing that's saying, should be on right now, right? Looks like the capacitor bank is coming down. Let's set this to like 70%, make sure it comes on. Oh, you know what? I don't have any fuel coming in, so that's not going to work. Okay, so now let us set that up. That's going to be an important part of it. I'm going to need a place where I've got a channel. 32 channels. I really just need an export here. Okay, let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to need smart cable. Did it again. I'm going to need an export bus. Assuming there's power up there, I think I have one. Then that's really all I need to get started. And I'll probably clean this up, but just to show you how it's going to work. What I want to do is I want to come down here. There we go. And we'll set our export bus here. And I need yellorium. I did it again. I keep forgetting to go into my wireless terminal. Yellorite. Put this here, and we're going to say export. And there they go. And let's see. Yeah, we're going to need to speed that up. I think I have everything I need for that. I do. That should help. There we go. It's filling up the core. Alright, those look like they're getting pretty close. Am I out? I am. Let's craft 200 more. And I don't know that I have enough power up there. Let me check on that. I may have to reconnect that. Let me go to our travel block. And give me this. Alright, we got power going. We got yellowite being created. And they are slowly filling up the core. Let's go ahead and put the import bus on here for waste. So that'll collect the waste from the reactor, and that will feed the reactor with fuel. And as that crafts, it should fill it up. And let's see if we can start it. Let's just go ahead and get our energy buffers filled up. Let's make sure that we're getting it stored. We are. It's moving up quickly. That's good. We're seeing 20,000 input. At least that's enough to get us back on our feet. That looks very nice. We're actually putting out 40k RF per tick. That's very nice compared to the 2k RF per tick we had before that. It looks like we're using a 1 millibucket per tick, so every 1,000 ticks we're going to use up, I think, a yellowite. Let's make sure that our core status is going up. And that's very nice. Let's set our monitor correctly here, where it's back down to 10%. And that's going to run for a while to fill up. But hopefully at the end of this we see that we've got a pretty good income of power. It's definitely a lot better than it was. It's what we're looking for. Now I just have to shore up a source of yellowite. Let's talk about that a minute while that's filling up. If you come up to the farm, I've actually started making yellowite seeds. Which this is glowstone, but here's our yellowite. And this is coming in pretty well. I think I need another one because there's always one that's empty here. But that is making it where we can craft pretty much all the yellowite we need. I'll probably end up getting more than that, but what you need to do is then just take this in here. There we go. And we can grind these down into dusts by throwing them in our pulverizer. And that will double them, and that will also make it where we can use it for fuel. So I think we've got enough here that we can sustain power pretty well, at least for this base. I'm going to see how it does on burn, but that's going to be basically how we handle power generation now, and I think lag-wise we're doing much better. So that being said, I'm probably going to next work on getting a Ender quarry set up in the deep dark, That's going to be our next thing. I've got to get this power where it's going over there, and I've got to get a chunk loader for here. We'll get that stuff set up, and we'll be back in a minute and get started on automating the deep dark. Okay, we're back, and we've made a few changes. Not a whole lot in the design, just where ports are located. I moved the redstone port up here and the power monitor to the front so I could monitor everything from the front so I didn't have to keep running to the back. And you can actually put power taps in the roof. So I replaced some casings with some power taps, and this is overkill. I really should just have one because this is like the big flux duct, but I just decided it was probably better visually to have the 4 of them because it's nice and even. So it's the only reason it's set up like that. But it's feeding into our capacitor bank here, and I also configured these to show the output. But if you want to look at that real quick, you just look at your power monitor, and it tells you where your storage is. You see how close you are, and I've got it set up to emit signal when storage is less than 10% full. And one of the problems I ran into was I didn't configure the redstone port correctly, because you've got to do this, and I had set it like this, but I forgot to click commit. So if you don't click commit, it won't change it. And that's why it wasn't working before, and I had to switch it manually. So now I've got it working. You have it here, and make sure it's committed. And every time this comes on and off, it works to power the reactor and refill everything. I also added some storage monitors from ME to be able to monitor our yellorium or yellorite levels. And then I've even got the essences beyond that. So if these start to get low, I can use the essences to refill. But that is basically that. And the feeding is working fine. If you look here, it's full. And it's also got a crafting card in this interface now, so it crafts them and sends them in as needed. And this has been working to control the waste. So it's working very well. That is our basic power setup now. One thing I want to do is I want to set up the ability to send it wirelessly, because our next thing is going to be getting a Ender Quarry running in the deep dark. So I'm going to set this here as a tesseract, and I'm going to configure it. So I want to create one called power, and we'll set the frequency to 1, and we'll say add, and then we're going to enable that frequency. And what we want to do is we want it to send on energy mode receive only. You can toggle these, see, so really all we're worried about here is energy mode, and we want to set it to send only, because we're saying this is going to be getting power from that, and we're telling it to send it out to wherever we want power later on. So that's going to be the deep dark where we're going to be doing that. So that's our power setup. We also need to set up where we can send items. And for that, I think I'm going to use an ender chest for now. I'll probably make it eventually where the ME system is wireless, but that's going to be a whole episode almost in and of itself to build that. So I'm going to get a quicker solution set up. So let's make a couple ender chests, which here's the recipe. Blaze rods, obsidian, wool, chest, and ender pearl, all stuff we have. So I'm going to make a couple of those, and I'm going to go somewhere that we have a free channel, because our channels are getting very, very tight. You can see we've got 32 here, 32 here, 29 here, so we're really close on channels. So what I want to do for now is I'm going to set this ender chest right next to here, and we'll leave it, I believe this is white. We're going to leave that color. It works the same as the ender tanks. Whatever color you send it to, that's what it'll link to. And then we're going to need a import bus for ME on that. So let's grab an import bus. This will probably have to be sped up too, so let's get a couple acceleration cards, because this thing is going to ultimately be pretty fast. So let's let that craft. And then I'll set that on here. So import bus there, and we'll do another one in the deep dark the same way. The other thing we're going to need here is a chunk loader. So I'm going to make a couple of those, and that's just to keep this area. I probably don't, oh I do, but I don't have any gold. Okay. I didn't think I had the enchanting tables ready. There's gold ingots and chunk. I only had one enchanting table. I need 2. Even though the quarry works as a chunk loader. Just a few things. Craft, next, start. And we need a book, which I also have handy. Next, start. Put that there, another enchanting table, and another chunk loader. Okay, so a couple chunk loaders, and we're going to need to go up top and set that. I'm going to center it up, but I don't want to spend a lot of time trying to find that on camera, so I'm just going to go up real quick to the top of the dome and set it about in the middle. It's going to be here somewhere. For now, we're just going to make our best guess, and I will fix this. Let's show lasers. We want this to be a circle. Well, let's make it a square. And just make sure that it's loading our chunks. Show lasers. There we go. Let's see where it's getting to. At least the whole building's in, the power's in. That will work for now. And like I said, we'll get that cleaned up off camera. So we've got our chunks loaded. We also need to make our ender quarry. That is kind of an involved recipe, to be honest. We've got most of it done, but I'm going to show you a few key pieces. So bring up the recipe. One of them is these ender cores and magical wood. This is something that is new for us. So what you need to do is use 4 enchanted books, and it seems to me the power of the enchanted books has an effect on how many of the blocks are generated. So if I load this recipe up, so ender core, if I could type ender core, and bring up magical wood. For some reason that didn't work, but I've got everything I need. I don't know why that one bugs out. I've got a bookshelf, and I've got plenty of gold. I think they were in the corners. And then I've got my books here, which these are Smite 4 books, which I have a bunch of them. It's just one of the enchants that I've gotten a lot of. So let's go ahead and put this... Oh, I think I need to... Let's just make it this way. You can see that creates 11 blocks of magical wood. I imagine if you put a 1 enchant in here, you'd probably only get 1 or 2 blocks. So we'll make that. And then the ender core recipe is fairly easy after you have that. Everything we've seen before. An Eye of Ender and Ender Infused Obsidian. I've already got these created. I'll create one more though just to show you. And so that is part of the quarry recipe. So they're the ender cores. These endothermic pumps are fairly simple to make as well. All stuff we've seen before. But I'll show you the recipe anyways. I've got one created already, so I'll make our second one. And then it's just a sapling and our diamond etched computational matrix, which we used before. Another fairly simple recipe. Just burnt quartz, all stuff we've gone over before. And that does that. And the other one's just a sapling in the middle. So we'll make our quarry. And we've got our quarry, we've got our chunk loader, we've got our ender chest, we've got our tesseract. The only other thing we're really probably going to need is item duct. Or item conduit. That way we can feed stuff into the ender chest. And let me see if the acceleration cards are done. They are. I really only need 3 of those. So let's go ahead and accelerate this. I'm also going to have to beef up the storage for the ME system, because I think this is going to end up bringing a lot of items in. But that is at least the start of it. So let's go take a look in the deep dark and see if we can get this set up. Oh, the other thing I'm going to need before I leave here is I need the markers. These are made in the QED, and they took a while to build, which is why I did it off camera. But if you look at the recipe for it, it's simple. Two Ender Infused Obsidian and an Ender Pearl in the QED. So I made 4 of those, and you use that to mark the boundaries of the Ender Quarry. So what I'm going to do is I've got this set up a little bit safer than we had it before. And we're going to set up our Ender Quarry out here. So let's go ahead and drop the block. And I think this replaces everything with dirt. So just to test it out, we're going to set our Ender Quarry here. We're going to set our tesseract here. We're going to put it on receive only for power. See if this is getting powered. Oh, there should be power going in. And then let's set our fence boundary. So let's go. There's the ender marker. So let's make the square. Do I have a way to mark this so I know that I'm in line? Let's use our factory blocks. Okay, just so I can see it from a distance. And the other thing I've got, which I haven't been using since last time, is the night vision on my helmet. So let's go ahead and stand here. And at ground level, just kind of stay in line, 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 stay in line. I don't know how big I can run with my current power setup, so let's just pick right here. Okay, that looks like that's in line. Let's go this way. I'm not too concerned with this being perfectly sized. So that likes that, and let's make sure we're here. And come in this way, this way, this way. The night vision really helps. That looks like right there is where it is. Yep, so now that you see those purple markers, that means that we're lined up. We've got power. Now I don't know if I need an adjacent chest for this or not. Like if I need just an adjacent inventory. So there we go. And let's see if it starts actually. Looks like it's powered. Let's see if it actually starts mining for us. Oh yeah, so there you go. It's pulling stuff in. So we're running it. I don't know what kind of power draw we're talking here, but we can go back and check. I know that I don't need a chunk loader on this, but I'm going to put one here just to keep the inventories loaded. I think it will do that anyways. I'm just going to put one right here, and I'm going to keep this chunk loaded, even though I know it's overkill. Because the Ender Quarry also works as a loader. But yeah, so that is a good setup. So now I should be going back. That looks like it's getting pulled into the system back home because that chunk is loaded. So I should be having that showing up in ME. And let's go see if we can figure out where it's actually mining. There it is. So you can see it's pulling the dirt in, or it's replacing everything with dirt, and it's mining everything we see. So it's pretty cool. And once we see how that is, we'll start working on upgrades for it. But that's our basic Ender Quarry setup with wireless power and wireless items. I think I can actually have this receive items and just send to a chest on the other side. But I wanted to test this out. So this might be overkill. You could just have this set up to also send items. And I think it could use it. But either way works. It's not a whole lot harder to do this. Ultimately, I'm going to get it where I have my ME system coming across wirelessly, but that will probably be next episode because we are out of time for this one. So I appreciate you guys tuning into this episode, and we'll see you next time.